Next. A nice graphic here. Percent of income spent on bread. Imagine your parents, however much money they make, having to spend half of what they earn to buy rice for you guys. That's the way things were in 1787. You see the blue. A year later, your parents are having to spend 80% of what they earn to just feed you guys rice every day. That's how bad things were, especially for the peasantry. Well, the urban poor, sorry, the urban poor. This would mean the non-bourgeois third estate people, the artisans, the laborers, the servants, all that. All right, next. Next, yeah. Okay, stop. You done? Okay. Financial problems in France, 1789. Look at an urban commoner. Again, if you're a laborer or a Parisian third estate person who's not rich, food costs you 80% of your income, rent costs you 25% of your income. I'm not going to walk you through this, you already see. You need to be making 70% more than what you are making just to survive from month to month. You need to be making almost twice of what you earn to survive from month to month. Meanwhile, look at the king. 50% of what he has is going towards interest on loans. You loan me money, I'll give you back the money you loan me plus the interest, which is how you profit from lending. 50% of what he owes is just the interest on paying back the loans. 25% of the king's budget is the army. My palace costs as much to maintain and upkeep as the whole army. Oh, my coronation, where they crown me, that costs 10%. I'm spending 10% of the national wealth on a ceremony where people crown me and play music and all say, "Hail to the king, God's chosen," yada yada. The loans themselves, another 25%, look at that. Bankers have it so nice. I'll give you this, but you're going to pay me back 50% more than what I gave you. And administration, the bureaucracy, tax collection, post office, roads, etc. 25%. So Louis needs 60% more than what he's got in government revenues to keep his country afloat. Next. Nice little primary source document here. This is a French one. It's from that period in a French newspaper. The deficit, again, the debt. And somebody says, "Where is the money?" they're saying. And look what's happening to it. You got a priest and a noble with bags of money. Or maybe this guy's monarchy. I don't know. Like heading out the door. Gee, and these guys are like, "Where's the money?" It was right there. Corruption. All right, next. Next. Okay, what sort of powers, absolute monarchy, did Louis have? One, he could warrant, he could decree, order, command, imprisonment or death. All he had to do is write a letter, and Ji-Hung's in prison, and if I want him dead, he's dead. Does he get a trial? No, I'm the king. I'm going to write a little letter. Kill Ji-Hung. Seal, hand it, and Ji-Hung is gone. Bye-bye. Next. Next. Carte blanche. That means a blank card. I can forgive you. Sean was one of the guys carrying out those bags of money in the primary source cartoon we saw. But I'm the king. Sean's a friend of mine. He gets busted. I write a carte blanche warrant. Sean's forgiven. No trial, no nothing. He's my pal. I'll take care of him. A cardinal, a French First Estate Catholic Church official, also, I guess, had the power to issue these carte blanche warrants. Total forgiveness for whatever you've done. And how many did he give? 80,000 of them during the reign of Louis's father, Louis XV. So 80,000 people commit sins, crimes, and so forth, total corruption. And you got a guy in the church forgiving all 80,000 of them just by like basically writing them a little card. Here you go, don't worry about it, they won't touch you. Next. You wonder why people were sick and tired of things the way they were. When was it eliminated? The first year of the French Revolution, 1790. Next. Ancien Regime. French for ancient regime. It is the period of time of the Bourbon kings, the Bourbon monarchs, all those Louis. You ever heard of bourbon, the drink? Alcohol, liquor, bourbon? Bourbon and water people drink? Patrick, your character drinks. He's a noble, of course he drinks. He drinks a fine sherry or whatever he's drinking. Those are the Bourbons, all those Louis, the Bourbon dynasty. Here is a map of France during the Ancien Regime. Now, if you remember the Parlement, not the Parliament. Parliament is a democratic body that makes laws. Don't be confused. In your readings, the Parlement is the system of administration of France under Louis. And there were 13 of them, and they looked basically like this, and they all had their own power to sort of do what they want. It was a very messy system for collecting money and supporting your government. That's all. Next. More. Stop. Okay, now you remember, what happens? Louis is out of money to the point where his government is about to go bankrupt. It's an emergency. So for the first time in over 100 years, what does he call? Say? The Estates General. The Estates General. What is the Estates General? What is it? They represent each estate. How many estates are there? There's 3 estates. So Louis calls representatives, good, from each estate, first, second, and third, to come to an assembly and say, we have a problem, we need to vote on a way to solve it. What's the problem again? No money. We need money is the problem. Who are we going to get it from? Not me, I don't have any, I'm Louis, I don't have any. Who are we going to get it from? All of you. How did this turn into really the first bomb to explode? Don't take that literally. The first crack of lightning in the French Revolution. Here we go. We've seen the clergy, the first estate, they're like 1.5% of the population. They get 1 vote for this let's make more money for the government first estate emergency meeting. Next, just 1. The aristocracy, what were they like, 8%? Not even. I don't remember. A very small percentage of the population. They get 1 vote. Next, you know what's coming. The commoners, the third estate, everybody else. Who are the rich in the third estate? The bourgeoisie. Who are the not rich in the third estate? The peasants, that's not all. The laborers in the cities. Who else? The artisans, the craftspeople. The philosophers, you said? Somebody say that? They could have been. So there we go, and they get 1 vote. Now here it is. You understand what happened, right? What were they voting on? Finances. What was the proposal that everybody knew they were going to vote on? What was the proposal? We need more money, so we proposed that what? Raise taxes on? Okay, let's wait a minute. Do the clergy pay taxes? No, they don't pay taxes at all. What percent of land is that 1.5% own? We just saw it. 10%. They don't pay taxes. 1.5% owns 10% of the country, and they pay no taxes. The upper clergy, remember, the upper clergy, the high priests, the bishops, the cardinals, they're living high on the hog in Paris, hanging out with the nobles, and not paying any taxes at all, living off of the churchgoers' money, the poor churchgoers. The lower clergy, remember there are divisions here. If you're in the clergy, upper and lower nobility, the lower clergy, they were the people who really worked. It's kind of like me. I'm a teacher. This is on tape. I'm going to get fired for saying it. I'm a teacher. I do all the work, but I don't get paid as much as the people in the administration who sit in the office and don't grade 100 papers a week and don't make lesson plans, all that sort of thing. But they get paid more. It's the same way here. Kidding. Hi, kidding. I'm putting this online. In the same way, the aristocracy. Did they pay taxes? They didn't pay taxes. As far as I know, prove me wrong. They didn't pay taxes. According to our readings, they did not pay taxes. So who did pay taxes? Did all the third estate pay taxes? If you don't know this, throw it in there. Throw it in your thing, possibly. Did all the third estate pay taxes? Here are the exemptions. It was in your reading. If you lived in the city of Paris, you didn't pay taxes. Even if you were a poor worker, you didn't pay taxes. Still, bread cost 80% of your income, so you're not a happy person. If you were a member of the bourgeoisie, very likely, you didn't pay taxes. So who does that leave to pay taxes, basically?
Peasants.
The peasants, and only the peasants are going to be the ones to pay taxes. So we're going to vote. Gee, that's not working very well. They don't have any money, and we're asking them to give us more. Yeah?
Peasants in Paris didn't pay taxes?
Peasants are farmers. Paris is a city. Are you going to have farms in the city?
No.
Okay. Good, right? So then, obviously, what are we going to propose? We need more money. Who are the obvious candidates to give it to us? First and second estate. Now, look at the way the Estates General has traditionally voted. The last time they voted was over 100 years before. They didn't have this problem so much 100 years before. Okay, proposal. These two now start paying some taxes. Is that proposal going to succeed with this voting system? No. So what is, and that's what happened at the Estates General. And what does this cause? What's the consequence? They vote. The clergy and aristocracy vote, we're not giving any money. They win. What does this cause? You read it. You've written about it. What does it cause? Tension between, but it causes an event, a major event. What? The oath. What was the oath called? The tennis court oath. And the tennis court oath swore that, what? The National Assembly. These guys, and some of these guys, and some of these guys. Probably the lower divisions, the lower half in each of those. Some of them join. Don't be simplistic. Every person in the First Estate is an individual. Some of them might be liberal, progressive. Some of them might not be. Same with the aristocracy. They voted, all right, we quit. This doesn't work. Remember people giving up on the old way? The thinkers and writers start just giving up on the old system. Well, here it is, it's happening. We quit the Estates General, and we are hereby, we swear on the tennis court, making a new government body called the National Assembly. And Louis, genius that he is, insists that this traditional way of voting is going to remain that way. Louis the King could have said, no, we're going to change the voting to, what would be the more fair way of voting? There was something like, well, next slide. Next slide. No, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Stop. You see how the numbers would have worked if it was voted by head, right? Each person, one man, one vote. They were all men. Women had no rights. If it was by vote, what would the outcome have been? These guys would have paid taxes. That's what the Third Estate was saying. No, the old way of voting, one vote per estate, is stupid. It's unfair. It's inefficient. It doesn't work. It's not going to solve the problem. So let's change it to a more representative form. 648, 300, 300. Still they're underrepresented, but they've got a majority. That's why these guys said, no, we're not going to change the way we vote. It's still one vote per estate. And Louis the King had a moment where he could have said, I am the king, I decide. This is the better way. I don't know why he didn't. It would be an interesting thing to, if you're Louis especially, to read about. Why didn't he decide to let the voting system change so that these guys would pay more money to his government and get him out of debt? Why didn't he? Was the king. He could have done that, and he didn't. I don't know why. I don't know everything. But it's an interesting question, isn't it? What was going through that man's head? Was he just stupid? Did he have pressures? Was he afraid? Was he an alcoholic? Was he not even thinking about it, just eating a bunch of nice food and drinking? I have no idea. Next. What's an abbé? Anybody know? There's an English word very similar. Come on, use your abbot. And an abbot is? Huh? A monk. And he's the head monk of a monastery. Right? He's like the master of the monastery. So Abbe Sieyes was a French philosophe Writer, notice, first estate, clergy.